Hey guys, Buckskin Dave here. I'm working up some loads for this 4590, some Smokeless for the Gimmer. One of the things that I really check on, now this action is a number 5 action, which means it's made out of tougher steel, so it will handle the pressures of a smokeless powder, along with this is a modern barrel on here. So, and that's why you have to be careful, because it probably would not be safe to do this in a older action like a number 1 that was designed only for black powder. So I'm looking at it. I've got a pretty good, there's no brass, no pressure problems. It didn't blow up in my face. But what I am seeing is I've got 2 shots that I've made down there, and they're kind of they're about 4 inches apart. They're to the left, which isn't that big of a deal. That's just a matter of adjusting the sight. So I'm going to try one more and see if I can get a little closer thing with it. But this load may not be very good for this Gimmer. The bullet is a 420 grain, and it has a copper gas check on it. So let me try another one. I'm going to have to go down and look. Let's go on down and see what we did. Well, this isn't panning out very well. You can see, let's see, shot number 1, shot number 2, shot number 3. They're not, I'm only shooting at 25 yards. They should be tighter than that. This is the Gimmer. Now this Gimmer has a 16 twist to it. It might shoot, well, it shoots the 520s really well, but that's a much longer bullet. And I think I'm going to have to look, and I don't remember if I was shooting those 520s with Smokeless. I know it's really accurate with black powder. So I don't have to waste any more lead here. If I can't do any better than that, I don't know what else to do. So this load does work real well out of the sharps, that Italian sharps I have. It's just not going to work out of the Gimmer. So I could try a different charge of powder. For some reason, out of my Gimmer, the 3031 works a whole lot better than this powder here. So anyway, I've got a project going on in the lathe, and I'll let you see how we're getting along with the 5090 sharps. And so come on, let's get out of the cold and go to the shop. Anyway, on the way to the shop, we passed our 100-yard gong, so I'm going to shoot a couple at it. One of the things that I look at when I'm trying to work up a load, and it's something that you can look at, this particular action, this rolling block action, when I got it, had a barrel attached to it, and it was a 7 Mauser. A lot of these number 5 actions became military guns all over the world. I mean, and they chambered them in 7mm Mauser. If you look in your loading manual, you'll see that the 7mm Mauser is anywhere from 21,000 to 37,000 in pressure. So if you stay on the low end of that, is which I do, because you don't want these big lead bullets going near as fast as a 7 Mauser. You just want to make it go about the same speed as you can get with black powder, and just be a little cleaner. You want it to be accurate, and you want it to have alternate powders in case you can't get one or the other. So when I'm doing that, I will look at the 7mm Mauser pressures, and I'll see that these Remington rolling blocks were able to work under some of those pressures. So, but I want to tell you one thing, okay? What I do is what I do, and it is not a recommendation. It is just what I do. You need to work these up yourself, and you need to figure them out yourself using your common sense, and so you don't blow the gun up or at least ruin the gun. So anyway, let's take a shot or two over here and see what happens. Stay right there. Okay. All right, let's try 100 yards. I'll just use a straight on hold. See where it goes. Well, looked like it went high. Try one more. It wasn't right or left like the it was showing on the paper. Okay. Okay. I believe it's going low. I got one more. And it's the last one in my pocket that I grabbed. Alright, I'm going to try one more hold. And this is not a good round, apparently. There we go. So, it was dropping like 3 or 4 inches over there on the paper. And out there it was dropping right 4 or 5 inches at 100 yards. Anyway, it's cold out here. Let's go in. So one of the other things I wanted to cover, I had a question in the comments. Shooting short cartridges in a longer chamber. What I mean by that was, the question was, if a guy had a 45-90, would he be able to shoot 45-70s in that gun? The answer is yes. And actually, if you buy a 45-90, I have actually seen advertisements that say you can shoot either one. The 45-90 is 2/10 longer than the 45-70, which isn't that big of a deal as far as that little space there. It's kind of the same thing in the old Dirty Harry days when the 44 Magnum, the Model 29, became famous. And a lot of us didn't want to shoot Magnums all the time, so we shot 44 Specials in there. It's kind of the same thing. One thing that you will find is if you shoot a bunch of short stuff in a long chamber, you're going to have to clean it really good before you put another long cartridge in there, because it'll be tight, because it'll get dirty. We shoot that all the time in pistol calibers, so we're talking 38 357. The cowboys shoot 38 loads all the time in their 357s. They don't plan on sticking a 357 in there before they clean it. Now with a rifle, you're going to have more pressure and a little bit hotter round. I don't think it would hurt anything. I probably wouldn't do it because I got a 45-90 and I don't have any 45-70 brass or bullets. So I just shoot 45-90 in it. I don't do it. I do with pistol calibers. I don't do it with these rifles. And if it gets to be like, now I don't think I'd shoot a 45-70 and a 45-120. That might be too big of a jump in my opinion. That's my opinion on it. Do what you want, you know, on that deal. But I generally just like to shoot the caliber that's on the barrel, match it with what's on the base, and that's where I go with it, especially with rifle calibers. Again, pistol stuff, I do that all the time. I shoot 22 shorts in a 22 long rifle pistol, but I have to clean it before I put long rifles in there because they'll be tight. So anyway, let's go over to the lathe and I'll show you what I'm working on today for a little while. Okay. Anyway, what I'm working on a little bit today is I'm trying to make a prototype. You ever see one of those little compression fire starters where it's a piston type thing and you put your char cloth inside of it and you bang it and it puts a compression into the it's a piston, so it makes some compression in there and it'll actually light your char cloth. I'm kind of fiddling around here. It looks like it might take me, well, as long as 8 to 10 weeks to get a cutter for my a chamber reamer for my 50. So I have these other little projects that I want to do, so I had to take the 50 out and I should be able to put it back in. I made a pilot for it, for that barrel, that is very precise, so I should be able to get it back centered when I go to chamber it. But anyway, I got that over there. I'm gonna let you take a look at it in a little while. I'm getting this down. I've got this thing where it's 3/4 of an inch, and now I'm drilling the chamber, and then I'll make the piston. And then I want to kind of get that much of it done today because I have to go to town tomorrow, and I can pick up a gasket to put on that piston so I get a good compression. So that's what I'm working on now. Stick with me, grab a cup of coffee, and I'm going to work on this for a while. So always remember to wear your protective gear too. This is protective gear. This will keep a piece of clothing from floating out and getting hung up here and sucking me in. So make sure you put your protective gear on, and I have eyes on, so I'm kind of working on this on the fly. I don't really have a plan for it. Anyway, there's the body, and basically the one that I saw someone else make, he actually put a plug here. So instead of putting a plug here, I just put a bottom on this chamber, and I just got to put it back in and finish that bottom because I cut it off. So now I need to make the plunger. That's what I'm going to work on next. I started out with quite a bit bigger piece of stock than I needed to. Anyway, these are the two parts. They're not finished. I mean, I buffed them a little bit, but so we'll go to the store tomorrow and we'll put an O-ring on here. We'll find one that fits just right, and that'll make this tighter. And then I guess what you do is I have this slit here, and we will put our piece of char cloth in that slit, and you put it in here, and of course it'll be tight, and that should get the char cloth to, it should put enough pressure in there to get that char cloth. Now I'm not sure if my distances and that's what a guy's going to have to work out, but this is the start. I got to make something to try to find out if it's going to work. So there we are there. Why don't you come on over here and let me show you how far we've gotten along with this this 5090. I think you'll like it. I said we're going to be off kilter for a little while till we get these parts. So let me get these out of the way. So here's where we're at. I found out that this piece of wood, I put a little stain on it, and I think if I sand both of these down, because this has to be finished, you can see it's sticking out an eighth of an inch all the way around. But I'll be able to sand them down, and I think they'll finish out the same. So, I mean, it gets done, except that there's no chamber in there. So we'll have to do some fitting of that wood, and I don't know that I want to do much of anything. I'll tell you what though, it's really, may even be too light for a 5090, but it won't be too light to pack around. I mean, it's a little bit lighter than that Gemmer. 28.5-inch barrels what it turned out to be, and it's got 11-degree crown. All that's done. So once I start fitting the wood, I don't really want to do too much until I get that chambered, but I can maybe work with the wood. The reason why I don't want to do too much is this there's a spring that goes in here, and I'll have to dovetail the barrel on the bottom to put that part on there for this to screw in here. Then I'll have to do the same thing here. Then I'll figure out where I want my front sights, and I'll have to put them in. I'll probably put a flip up in the back, and just a blade is what I like. This is not a long range gun. This is a hunting gun, so you know, 200-300 yards for these. But anyway, that's all I got for this time. Stay with the channel. Next time we'll see how this fire starter works, and see if that was a waste of time, or maybe we can figure out what we got to do to improve it and make it work. Also, until I get my chamber reamer, I guess I'll just work with the 4590. I'd like to get a smokeless load for that Gemmer, and having a different twist than the Italian Sharps, we might have to piddle around with the charge and powder and this and that. So anyway, that's probably what we'll do next time, is work up a load. I'm Buckskin Dave. You guys have a great day. Thanks for stopping in, and stay safe and stay healthy. Bye-bye.